Good Thursday afternoon, early evening, everyone. Meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees here in the WCNC Charlotte Weather Center, tracking opportunities for some strong storms across the Charlotte area as we get closer to tomorrow afternoon and evening. Primary time frame here is going to be after 4 p.m., especially for areas in the mountains around that time, and then generally shifting closer to us. Before we get there, I just want to acknowledge the fact that we are seeing showers out there right now, and I'm going to track this for you too. But the primary reason for this stream, of course, is talking tomorrow's severe weather risk and why it's so important for folks at home, of course, to stay weather aware. So let's start off with taking live pictures here across the Charlotte metro area. You can see our quad box camera that we see from Monroe, Dallas, Kannapolis. It is cloudy. It is gloomy. We're even seeing some light rain in a few spots across the area right now. It is not a heavy rain night by any stretch of the imagination, but you can see some of those showers mainly well south of the Queen City at this hour. Some of this light rain over southern parts of Union County. You can see pretty much hugging, I would say 29 in area south. So Waxhaw still seeing a little bit of light rain, Monroe, Marshville, and area south, but whereas Weddington, Matthews, Unionville, you're all dry. Still some light rain for Ansonville, Polkton, down toward Wadesboro. And then we're also seeing some showers on the southern tip there of parts of York County, of course, down toward Chester, Lancaster County as well. So you can see McConnell still seeing some light rain for northern Chester, over toward Lansford, Fort Lawn, Lancaster, Van Wyck, Jackson, also some light rain. So again, it's very spotty in nature, very light in nature. There's a small chance that we could see a brief thunderstorm with the rain that we have right now, but for the most part, it's a little bit too, I would say, stable right now to see any significant opportunity for thunder and lightning. But good idea, right? Of course, to remind ourselves that when thunder roars, move indoors, and we should always be kind of keeping that in mind when we're under this risk for rain. But your hourly rain chances for the most part this evening and overnight are pretty low. Anything about 40% or lower is typically scattered to widely scattered and kind of the activity that we have out there right now. But tomorrow turns a much different story as we are going to be tracking areas of strong to severe storms. I do want to preface this by saying that this is not the highest severe risk we've seen by any stretch of the imagination. However, it follows a trend of strong storms from this large storm system that have continued to move across the deep south over the past few days. So as we're taking a wider view across the Carolinas, you can see a little sliver of a high risk over toward parts of Tennessee and Kentucky. That is going to be much more substantial than what we'll see here. However, when you see this trend of a storm system that has produced severe weather, that's when we oftentimes pay very special and close attention to it. Now, as we zoom in closer, you're going to notice that the entire region, locally, all 22 counties are under a low risk with some under a medium risk. This is primarily west of I-77, especially up toward the mountains, the foothills. You can see Lincoln County, Gaston County, western parts there of York County, western Chester, and even northwestern parts of Mecklenburg are all under that more medium risk for severe storms. Again, this is largely west of the I-77 corridor. Now, one of the reasons why is it looks like the instability is going to be a touch higher in this area, and we're also going to see some higher wind shear in this area. One of the things we oftentimes look at when we're determining our risk for severe weather is called the significant tornado parameter. This measures instability, wind shear, which is wind changing and shifting with height and getting stronger with height as we go high up in the atmosphere. And also, it looks at the potential for rotating storms. You'll notice as we kind of progress throughout Friday afternoon, it's a little bit higher, again, for those areas in the western Carolinas. And as it progresses kind of west to eastward, you'll notice that the numbers go down a little bit and our colors actually go down a little bit too as we progress throughout the afternoon and evening. So notice 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Then by 9, our colors, our numbers are much less aggressive. And that just shows kind of that weakening trend. Once you get east of 77, the storms are not expected to be quite as strong. So that's just one of the reasons why those folks are under a medium risk, while if you're in areas actually in Charlotte and most of the actual metro area are under that lower risk. So even though we're tracking, of course, rotating storms, and that's a very important thing to watch when we're talking about severe weather, still our highest risk is going to be damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. Even non-thunderstorm winds, which we're talking about just the gusty ones that come as the line is moving through, could bring down trees and power lines. Even outside of the thunderstorm risk in the afternoon, we are still going to track wind gusts in excess of 30 to 35 miles per hour as we progress throughout Friday. So it is going to be windy even before the storms move through. I just want to make sure that is very clear and very articulated throughout this newscast. To answer Luke's question right now, do you think we're going to be in a high wind watch or high wind warning? Luke, I don't think we're going to actually meet that criteria here in the Charlotte area. However, there's already a wind advisory in effect for tomorrow and early Saturday for the mountains because those wind gusts, again, outside of the main line, will get up to about 50 or so miles per hour. So no, I don't think we're going to match that criteria here in the metro, but we have already matched it up in the mountains. Joy asking, do you think there'll be tornadoes? Good question, Joy. That was my next thing I was getting to. So the tornado risk is low, but it is not zero. There is a chance that we will see a spin up tornado even across the Charlotte metro area. The entire region, again, under that low risk, which does include a 2% chance of a spin up, whereas those areas in the medium is at a 5% chance. I know those numbers oftentimes seem low, but the way you should be thinking about this is a 2% chance means we are twice as likely than a normal day. A 5% chance means we are 5 times as likely than a normal day. So again, it is a chance, it is low, but we want to make sure folks are staying weather aware. Again, the primary time frame here will be anywhere between 4 p.m. when we're talking about storms starting in the mountains all the way through 10 p.m. Tomorrow evening. Now, something else that we don't oftentimes see in the Carolinas, I want us to be focused on is there's actually a low risk for some large hail. Typically, this is 1 inch or higher, which is large hail for us. Maybe not if you're talking about places over, in the Midwest or even the western part of the country toward Colorado, but still decently sized for us. If these storms can get strong enough and high enough when we talk about updrafts and high winds, as the storms grow, they meet that level of cold air well high up in the atmosphere, and oftentimes those balls of ice and that hail can form from that. You'll notice the flooding risk here is marked as low. There is virtually zero flooding risk, at least significantly, in the Charlotte metro. The flooding risk would be low and a touch higher than us here in Charlotte for the mountains, just based on the elevation. And you'll notice as we go progress hour by hour through Futurecast that those areas mainly north of the Queen City do have a better chance for scattered rain earlier tomorrow morning. But here comes the afternoon. You'll notice a few peaks of sunshine that'll help with our instability. And as we approach that 3-4 o'clock time frame, notice the storms kind of popping up already in the mountains. But as we get closer to 4, 5, and 6, the heavier rain starts to move in. There you go. You see that bright pocket of orange and red indicating that heavier rain. This is kind of the time frame we're watching. Notice as I progress hour by hour towards 7 o'clock, you can see the storms are right there in the Charlotte metro. We're talking northern Mecklenburg County, Lincoln County, Gaston County, just north of Mecklenburg County into southern Iredell. And then by 8 o'clock, essentially right over uptown Charlotte. Look at that line. So this is indicating a squall line, a line of thunderstorms moving through the region. As we get closer to 9 o'clock, the storms are virtually over in the metro because this line is moving very, very quickly. And again, as I mentioned, by 10 o'clock, we are expecting this to be wrapped up. Notice, though, that the line does appear to be weaker as it shifts further southeast. That goes along with the weakening trend that we just talked about a second ago. So again, the risk is not necessarily high, but it is higher than where we have been lately. And we typically do see more severe weather events in the spring severe weather season. So we're talking March, April, and May. So I just want folks to be weather aware. Make sure you are prepared for the potential of some strong to severe storms tomorrow afternoon. Again, mainly after 4 o'clock. 10 o'clock, we'll be wrapping that up for the Sandhills. So when we're talking about that 6-hour window, I don't want you to think it's because of uncertainty. That's just because I'm talking from the tip of the mountains all the way down toward the Sandhills, primarily for the Charlotte metro. That'll be between 7 to 9 p.m. So tomorrow, folks encouraged to stay weather aware for that potential for strong storms. But then the weekend, we are getting treated by a fabulous first weekend of a new month. Temperatures only in the mid to upper 60s, both Saturday and Sunday. We're talking abundant sunshine, and even those temperatures a touch on the cooler side. I say cooler, even though we should be in the low 60s in March, but it has just been so dang hot. Monday, mostly sunny, temps near 71. We turn a bit breezy as we head through the middle part of the work week. And then after that, we are talking Wednesday and Thursday, bringing in a few more areas of rain. And I think that the end of the 7-day forecast, as we progress through the 10-day forecast, that could be the pattern flip that we're talking about, eventually bringing in temperatures that should be a bit more typical for March standards. Kelsey's saying that she wants snow. That is my best friend from high school that always is on all of my streams. She's the best. She lives Steelers in Atlanta. Kels, as of right now, next 7 to 10 days, it is not looking good, but fingers crossed for you. I know you really want it before the season is over, and I'm sure many folks here in Charlotte would agree that in the deep south, we were hoping for a little bit of snow this season. But at least in the near term, again, we are staying warm and well too warm for snow. We were just talking about that risk for a few strong storms tomorrow. Feel free to leave any additional questions you have here in the comments. I will try to get to them a little bit later on this evening. And of course, you can always send us a Facebook message, tweet at us, Instagram, email, things like that. Very easy to get in touch here with the WCNC Charlotte weather team. Hope you all have a safe, happy, and healthy rest of your Thursday. Make sure if you do have plans to maybe eat dinner outside, you're grabbing that umbrella just in case you get caught in one of those light showers. And again, make sure, folks, you're staying weather aware tomorrow. After Friday night, we will be great heading into the weekend. Have a great evening.